Hello everybody, this is Kurt Hollowell with another tutorial on our audio visualizer tool. Today we're going to be talking about advanced beat detection. In the last tutorial we talked about some simple beat detection. If you want to follow along, you can go to audio visualizer, scenes, and we're actually going to be starting in the sphere scene, and we'll be going to the city scene later. If you go ahead and hit play, you can see here's some sphere waveforms and a circle waveforms. Those are included in the tool. Basically, they move things in a circle or around in a sphere, and then it'll adjust the radius with the music. In this example, I've separated out the audio and audio event listeners into 5 different tracks. So if you go under Audio Sampler, it has these 5 audio sources all listed, and each one has a different track. When we created this track, we separated out all the instruments into bass, drums, a couple leads, and a pad. This way we can do beat detection on one instrument and get very clean data. If you have all your instruments in one song, it's harder to get very clean and precise beat detection. So if we go to audio event listeners, you can see those are also separated out for each instrument. And all you have to do is create an audio event listener and index the audio source you want. So for bass, I want the first thing in this audio sources list. For drums, I want audio source 1, which you can see is right there, element 1, and so on. So let's go ahead and look at these events real quick. On the bass, I've said I wanted to look for the bass frequency range on that audio source. And here's all the public methods I'm calling when it detects a beat. Basically, let's go ahead and turn this on. It's doing 2 things. It's calling a bump method on this circle waveform, which moves it up or down, and it's also calling emit particles on all these particle systems in that circle waveform. So if we click here, you can see this is the circle waveform it's referencing. Basically moves objects in a circle. And then when we call this bump method, it moves everything up or down a little bit. And we're also emitting some particles. Let's go ahead and look at one more, drums. I'll turn the bass off. So the drums, you can see, is affecting this white waveform. And that's the same thing. It's calling this drum white sphere waveform. It's calling a bump method on it, as well as emitting a bunch of particles. So that's basically it. If you want to do some really clean, advanced beat detection, work with your musician to split out the track into different instruments, that we can get really clean data for each instrument. And finally, I want to talk about this on frequency change event handler. And to do that, I'm going to go to the city scene. So if you go to the city scene under audio stuff, you can click on an audio listener. This also has just an audio event listener. It is calling some on frequency changed events, and what these are is basically float values that get adjusted between this min and max depending on the audio. So let's click on one of them. You can see it's referencing this light purple. If we look at it in our scene, here's this purple light. And what we're going to do is basically adjust the intensity back and forth between 0 and, in this case, I've set it up between 0 and 1 with the music. So if we go and hit play, you can see here is our light source, and you can see it flashing with the music. And sure enough, if you look at this intensity value, it's being changed back and forth. So you can hook in any dynamic float variable. You just click this little plus button, pull in your light or whatever you want, go to the script, and any of these dynamic float variables you can click, and it'll adjust it between min and max with music. All right, that's all I wanted to talk about. And if you, real quick, here's our website you can come check out at dogeatdoggames.com. You can see more about our games, our other tools, or get support for any of these tools. And then finally, here's the audio visualizer tool that we were talking about today. Then you can find that on the Unity Asset Store. All right, I hope that helped you get some awesome beat detection in your games. Catch you later.